Have you ever wished to be someone who is unshakable, someone who doesn't crumble under criticism, rejection, loss, or betrayal? Have you ever dreamed of the day when you will finally stop feeling that silent pain, that burning anguish that eats you up inside, even when you pretend to be fine on the outside? Perhaps you're tired of constantly trying to predict the world, of maintaining an image that requires strength all the time, when in reality, all you wanted was to rest, just for a moment, from the pressure of being in control. But let me tell you something that the wisest of the Stoics knew. As long as you try to avoid pain, it will continue to control you. As long as you try to build walls to protect yourself, you will remain a prisoner to everything that happens outside of you, to the words that offend you, to the actions that disappoint you, to the silences that kill you inside. This is not weakness. This is the common mistake of mankind. The great Stoic philosopher Epictetus put it simply: people are disturbed not by things, but by the views they take of them. That is where the key lies. It's not about shielding yourself from the world. It's not about becoming cold, indifferent, or a stone. It's about fundamentally understanding what is truly yours and what is not. Because true strength is not the absence of pain, but the full awareness of your own command center, your faculty of choice, even when the world is raging around you. If you've made it this far, it's not by chance. This video is for you who are tired of hurting yourself with everything and everyone. It's for you who feel that you are always at an emotional disadvantage, as if other people hold a power over you that you don't understand. I want to show you that it doesn't have to be this way, but for that, you will have to face a core Stoic truth that may sting. Perhaps for the first time, this sting will set you free. Let's get started. The brutal truth of the dichotomy of control. You believe that what hurts you is out there, in the actions of others, in poorly chosen words, in the abandonments you have suffered, in the betrayals you did not expect. But the truth is brutal, and you must internalize it. None of this really has the power to hurt you unless you grant it that power. What hurts you is not what others do to you. It is your judgment of what they do. It is the story you tell yourself about the event. It is the attachment you have to the idea of how things should be. The Stoics defined this boundary with the dichotomy of control. Some things are up to us, and some things are not. Things outside your mind, the health of your body, your reputation, the opinions of others, the loyalty of friends, are not up to you. They are indifferent to your well-being. That is why some people can go through devastating situations and still maintain their inner fortress, while others are destroyed by a simple insult. It is not about what happens, it is about where you allow it to hit you. And here comes the uncomfortable truth. You still suffer so much because you still believe you can control things that are external. You are still trying to be good enough, smart enough, or strong enough, as if that guarantees no one will hurt you. But control is an illusion outside your mind, and as long as you cling to it, you live in constant tension, trying to predict the unpredictable, trying to avoid the inevitable. Do you want to stop suffering? Then stop trying to control the uncontrollable. What you need is not more external control, but more internal clarity. As long as you believe that people need to change for you to stop feeling pain, you will remain enslaved by the actions of others. Your freedom begins the moment you understand that everything that comes from outside only has power if it finds a willing weakness within your judgment. This is the only true battlefield. If this content is making sense to you, click the subscribe button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for your support. The power of Prohairesis, your sovereign center. The biggest lie you've been told is that you are simply a victim of circumstances. Wake up, because you are not. At least not as long as you confuse your life with external events. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The pain you feel, the anger that explodes out of nowhere, the sadness that invades you without explanation. None of this is random. They are messages coming from your faculty of choice, or Prohairesis, which is the only thing truly yours. This is your ability to judge, to assent, and to decide on your own character. You wonder why certain words destroy you while other people don't care? Because those words touch an irrational judgment within you that is still active. If they are active, it is because you have never questioned them. You have only accepted the external event as inherently bad, and now you keep tripping over that unexamined belief. Epictetus said, "Don't seek for things to happen the way you want them to. Rather, wish that what happens happens the way it happens. Then you will be happy." And what have you been doing? Judging the universe, demanding justice, resisting reality, as if that would solve anything. The truth is, your freedom does not disappear just because the world is chaotic. It only finds more dangerous ways to manifest, in emotional reactions, in the toxic belief that you are owed something, in anxieties and fears that arise when everything seems to be going well. Do you want to be someone who is no longer hurt? Then stop running away from the only thing that is truly yours, your power of assent. As long as you do not master your judgments, you will be a puppet of your emotions. And the more you try to protect yourself from external pain, the more vulnerable you become to internal turmoil. But there is a way out, and it is not in defending yourself. It is in fortifying yourself from the inside. Because becoming unshakable is not an act of resistance, it is an act of deep acceptance. This is what we will see next. The inner citadel, fortifying the soul, not the walls. Most people believe that the only way to avoid getting hurt is by closing themselves off. They build walls, create emotional armor, and pretend that nothing affects them. They say, "I don't care anymore," but inside they continue to bleed. They keep corroding because the problem was never about feeling. The problem is not knowing what you are giving your assent to and why. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The things which are produced by nature contain nothing evil. The external event is neutral. The evil lies in our untrained response." Becoming emotionally strong has nothing to do with being cold. It has to do with acceptance, Amor Fati, accepting what you cannot change and understanding the impermanence of all things. You do not become untouchable by building a barrier between yourself and the world. You become untouchable when you realize that no one can touch your Prohairesis unless you invite them in. When you accept your situation, your losses, your disappointments, your mortality, you stop reacting to everything. You choose your response. You are no longer an emotional puppet, and that is true freedom. The Stoics called this the building of the inner citadel, a fortified, rational center of consciousness that remains unassailable regardless of the chaos outside. It is not a process of perfection, but of clarity. You do not need to become a better person. You just need to become a more rational one. And here is the secret that no one told you. The more you run from pain, the more it chases you. But when you face your situation with reason, when you accept the natural consequences of an unpredictable world, nothing outside has the power to dismantle you. However, this path requires courage. Courage to look within, courage to abandon false hopes of external control, and courage to feel, because it is precisely in the willingness to suffer that the key to freedom is hidden. And that is what we will discover in the next part, the power of Premeditatio Malorum. Premeditatio Malorum, turning suffering into strength. You learned to hate pain since you were little. You were taught that suffering is a sign of weakness, that crying is a waste of time, that feeling too much makes you vulnerable, and so you began to run, to avoid, to deny. But the more you flee from suffering, the more it changes form. It disguises itself as anxiety, anger, apathy, or self-destructive impulses. Ignored pain does not disappear. It just digs tunnels inside you until one day everything collapses. The Stoics saw suffering as a vital mental exercise. Seneca believed that the best way to prepare the soul was through Premeditatio Malorum, the premeditation of evils. This is not morbid worry. It is a rational, deliberate anticipation of all the bad things that could and likely will happen. Loss, betrayal, illness, death. Seneca advised, "He robs the present, who is too much concerned about the future." But he also knew that preparing for the worst means that when the worst arrives, it loses its power to shock and paralyze you. You are no longer at war with reality. You are prepared. The truth is, suffering only hurts so much because you are still attached to the idea of a life free of suffering. There is still a part of you demanding that the universe be fair, but the universe is simply indifferent. Change hurts. Growth hurts. Letting go of old beliefs hurts. But it is precisely in this friction that your true strength is forged. Because when the pain lays bare your vulnerability, you can finally see who you really are. A rational being, an active agent whose ultimate freedom lies not in the outcome, but in the virtue of your response. The Stoics understood that suffering is not a failure. It is part of the process. Pain is not the end of the road. It is the beginning of the journey towards virtue. The problem is that most people give up before crossing that dark valley. They flee, they distract themselves, but not you. If you have made it this far, it is because you are ready to cross. And in the next part, we will understand how this crossing process happens, how the consistent practice of virtue, no matter how lonely it may seem, is what finally sets you free. Virtue is the only good, the unassailable shield. Few people have the courage to begin the Stoic journey, and even fewer have the courage to sustain it. This path does not promise comfort. It demands courage, justice, temperance, and wisdom. It destroys the childish notion that your happiness depends on luck. You begin to realize that much of what defined you until now, your achievements, your reputation, the image you constructed to be loved, is an external indifferent. It is not the source of your happiness. Epictetus taught, "Do not seek to have everything that happens happen as you wish, but wish for everything to happen as it actually does happen, and your life will be serene." It is in this process that you begin to become untouchable, not because nothing affects you anymore, but because you have already accepted the worst possibilities. You have faced your own mortality and the impermanence of all things and said, "I assent to reality, and I will choose to act with virtue regardless." It is this internal clarity, this understanding of the dichotomy of control, that gives you a strength that does not depend on approval or luck. You no longer need to be loved by everyone. You no longer need to win every argument. You no longer need to appear strong, because you know your character is the only good, and no one can take that away from you. True emotional armor is not a shell. It is a core of virtue. You may feel pain, but it does not break your spirit. You may be hurt, but you do not lose your Prohairesis because you have stopped being reactive and have become rational. However, this rationality comes at a price, solitude, not because you will be alone, but because few people live with this level of rational accountability. You inevitably distance yourself from those who live on the surface in constant complaint and fear. But this distancing is not rejection. It is maturity. You no longer fit where you once hid. And this brings us to the final point of this journey. Clarity as a shield. Because it is not strength that protects you, it is your fully functioning reason. This is what we will discuss in the last part. Reason as the only state in which nothing, absolutely nothing, has more power over you. The unshakable soul, choosing clarity. We are almost there. Now that you've made it this far, there is something that needs to be said very clearly. Nothing, Absolutely nothing will shield you from external suffering if you remain irrational in your judgments. The words will continue to hurt, the rejections will continue to sting, the losses will keep bringing you down until you awaken your reason. And awakening is not a magical event. It is a daily choice. It is looking within, even when it hurts. It is taking responsibility for every single one of your judgments, without blaming others, the past, or fate anymore. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." You have spent your whole life resisting the fear of not being enough, the emptiness of rejection, the pain of loneliness. But what did you do with that? You hid. You tried to control everything. You tried to be perfect. And all of this has brought you here, exhausted, tired of fighting against the world and against yourself. But now you know. True emotional immunity is not hardness, it is reason. It is not about creating armor, it is about clarifying your judgments. Because when you understand your own attachments and irrational demands, the actions of others lose the power to destroy you. You still feel, but you don't drown. You still suffer, but you don't lose your inner center. And that changes everything. What shields you is not protecting yourself from life. It is diving into it deeply, with full rational acceptance. Those who live on the surface get hurt by any wave. Those who practice Stoicism know that there is stability and a sovereign core of reason down below. And that is where you are now standing. And when you start to live from that place of rational acceptance and virtue, the world may try to knock you down, but it no longer finds where to hit you. If this video touched you in some way, if something within you has awakened, write here in the comments, "I choose reason." Let's start a movement of people who no longer want to be victims of circumstance, but architects of their own character. And while you're here, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button to support the creation of more content that empowers your inner life. Don't forget, the next video is also part of this journey. It's important. You need to keep going. Real transformation only begins when you don't stop at the first step. See you there.